Addiction is manifested in any behavior that a person craves, finds temporary relief or pleasure in, but suffers negative consequences as a result of, and yet has difficulty giving it up. That's the definition of addiction that you won't find in a medical journal, you won't find it in a dictionary, you won't find it in the DSM-5, which is a mental health handbook. It's the definition of addiction as given by Dr. Gabor Mate, who spent 10 years as a physician in the most drug-affected areas of Canada. And what Dr. Gabor Mate found over 10 years studying thousands of and helping thousands of patients is that they all shared significant trauma. Significant childhood trauma, significant child abuse, significant sexual abuse, significant trauma. That is the story of the addict. The addict is someone who can't deal with their trauma and they turn to some sort of addictive behavior that gives them relief from that trauma. Dr. Gabor Mate, I recommend you look up his work. He is possibly the world's leading expert on addiction. However, I'm an expert in addiction. From possibly the age of 16, I have been an addict of some description. My most severe addictions have been gambling and methamphetamine, but I've also suffered and been a part of it, being addicted to my TV, being addicted to my phone, being addicted to sugar, being addicted to sex, pornography, and all these traumas have manifested in these addictions. Okay, many times I thought I was clean of addiction, but I was only clean of a certain addiction. Okay, and because I hadn't dealt with my trauma and my pain, a new addiction manifested. I'm not sure how a 35-year-old man that has never touched an illicit substance in his life at the age of 37 becomes a hardcore meth addict. It's just a new manifestation of the same trauma. We need a new mindset on addiction. Please. That junkie heroin fuck over there who's booting heroin, he's not a loser. She's not a loser. They're a person with a story, and that story is embedded in significant pain, and they simply don't know how to deal with their pain. When we demonize them, criminalize them, put them in jail, treat them as outcasts of society, we probably only intense their addiction, because that's the only place they can feel safe, as I can attest to completely. It's like the war on terror. All the war on terror does is create more terror. A war on addiction can only possibly create more addiction. Now, at the age of 42, that'll shock some of you because of my good looks. At the age of 42, I can confidently sit here and tell you now I am no longer an addict. I am no longer an addict because I've traced the source of my pain, my trauma, through my childhood, through my teens, and I'm learning to deal with it. So many times people ask me, why do you smoke meth? And I have to say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't smoke it for 3 months. I have one little instance of relapse in my brain, and the next minute I've relapsed for 6 months. I don't know. I'm starting to understand why I did those things. I'm starting to understand why I spent all my money in the Brisbane casino. Because I've met some amazing people through a wonderful community who have shown me my trauma. They've shown me ways of identifying my trauma, and they've given me tools to deal with it. Now, on April 19, if you're close to me, you're probably aware I had a bit of a meltdown. I actually wasn't smoking. I wasn't under the influence of meth at the time. I didn't want to do meth that night, so I thought I'd get on my mate's Jack Daniels bottle. After that night, I removed myself from Facebook because I was sick of arguing. I was sick of having my point of view attacked, and I was sick of attacking other people's point of view. I was fighting with people I love over the internet, over COVID, over the flat world, over any significant idea that we were sharing. I was fighting with them. I was sick of fighting, so I removed myself from Facebook. But the biggest reason I removed myself from Facebook was shame. I was ashamed of who I was. I did not want to be seen in this world anymore as a drug addict. And it was the most suicidal night of my life. I made the decision to smoke meth every day until I got to a spirituality-based health retreat in the middle of May. Now, that is the only way I knew how to get there in my suicidal thoughts. I'm not perfect, but I'm a lot better than what I was. I've started this channel to express myself, express my addiction, and in any way, shape or form, try and help other people who are experiencing any form of addiction, not just drug or gambling addiction. If you're doing something that you can't stop and it's having negative consequences on your life, it's an addiction. I'm back. I'm ready to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to compassionately break through and help other addicts. And as always, go Queensland.